What's up everyone, and welcome back to another What If video. First, I'd like to thank everyone for getting this channel to 10k. I honestly didn't really expect it to get here that fast, or even at all. It's pretty amazing that it got this big, and I'm just really happy to see it, and I'm glad all of you love the channel that much, so thank you all. And of course, for the 10k special, I'm going to be doing a What If that you guys voted for. One of the most interesting things to do in a What If is to turn a bad guy into a good guy, considering that's an actual commonplace in the story itself. However, this one will be a bit different. It's pretty obvious that TURLES is not only non-canon, but even if he were, his whole movie doesn't even fit in with the timeline. So here we're going to be doing two major things. One, we're going to be placing Tree of Might somewhere in the canon by adjusting it somehow, and we're going to make TURLES good. So let's begin. Okay, so in the original timeline, the placement of this movie makes absolutely no sense. It takes place after Goku gets to Namek, but before the fight with Frieza. The reason it makes no sense is because it takes place on Earth, and they never left Namek during that time period. Not to mention, all the humans are alive, which doesn't happen until way later when the Namekians get to Earth and revive them. So the problem here is, how are we supposed to bring TURLES in with all of these differences without changing him or the Namek saga too drastically? Well, there's a few things we could do to adjust it so it could somewhat fit. Number one, the movie's going to take place before Namek and after Goku recovers in the hospital. We'll do this by saying Korin gets some Senzu beans a lot earlier and Goku is healed easier, and they all intend to head to Namek earlier, while Dr. Briefs and Bulma prepare a spaceship with a gravity room, since they realize that a Namekian ship would make the trip too slow, and they'd be better off with a custom-built ship. Number two, the humans and Piccolo won't be involved at all. While they did play a role in the movie, there can easily be things adjusted that makes the movie work without them. Besides, Piccolo probably did the most out of them, and it's only Piccolo, Tien, Yamcha, and Chaozu that we're removing. We still have every other character. 3, we're going to also nerf TURLES and the Crusher Core, and we're going to make their power proportional to the time that they're at now. We'll use the power levels from the World's Strongest, where Goku is at a third of his power that he was in the Tree of Might, at 10k instead of 30k. That means TURLES would be at a power of about 6300, with the Fruit of the Tree of Might making his power go over 100,000. I won't go over the Crusher Core, but making everyone's power level 1/3 of normal makes it work for this timeline placement, but still keeps the peril and the plot of the movie in check. It may seem like a lot, but these changes are actually relatively simple, and the movie can still happen with a very similar plot in this way. With that out of the way, we can get to the film itself and get to where this will change everything. A lot of it is actually pretty normal, except Goku, Krillin, and Gohan end up fighting the Crusher Core, and we'll say Roshi joins in as well, just to add someone else to help. It's not like he's weak at all, so having him there is good for their numbers, especially when he bulks up. When we get to the end of the movie, where Goku makes another Spear Bomb to finish off TURLES, it actually ends up working and destroying the tree and defeating TURLES, but we see another major change here. He doesn't end up dying from the Spirit Bomb. TURLES has been beaten pretty badly, but he barely ends up surviving this and is off on his own in the wild, nearly dead. Not only was he defeated, but he lost even with the fruit being grown to help him. His hopes for his pursuit of strength are now shattered as his work towards getting the fruit ended up being pointless. Or maybe he was just going about it the wrong way. This time alone in the wilderness while he spends time healing actually gets him thinking. Kakarot was able to become strong naturally without the fruit, and even had impressive skills when disadvantaged. He's also a low-class warrior just like him, and they pretty much have the same physical build, so the fact that Kakarot could do that maybe comes down to his lifestyle, and it makes TURLES think that maybe if he lives like Kakarot, he could reach a new level of power. Kakarot is the most powerful Saiyan he's known in a while besides the Prince, so maybe all of this nonsense he preaches about being good and friendship actually helped him. But that's completely unlike a Saiyan, right? To live like Kakarot. All these conflicting thoughts go around in his mind during this time. Eventually, he heals a bit after a few days and regains some power, but is still resting in the forest. The ship for Namek is almost ready, and over the past few days, the group has sensed the power slowly rising in the area TURLES was at, and decides to head over there. The group is alerted when they find that TURLES is not only alive, but badly injured and pretty much clinging on to life. He seems to have given up all hope of trying to fight, and he basically accepts the fact that they might be here to kill him. Krillin prepares to kill him, but Goku stops him. Goku, being himself, sees potential in the Saiyan and wants to give him another chance at life. He's harmless for the moment after all, and he's given up on his goal, and he's in a bad place in terms of his life. All the things he worked for in his whole existence have just crumbled before him, and he's rethinking everything. TURLES is weakly surrendering as they end up taking him away to Capsule Corp to decide what to do with him. The ship to Namek is almost done, and they will have to leave, but they can't leave TURLES here alone on Earth because they don't know what he'll do. They could possibly heal him with a Senzu, but they don't know what will happen if they do that. They don't really trust him at all at this point, not even Goku, but for now they could just give him regular remedies for his broken bones and such. If they give him a senzu, for all they know, he's going to get powered up really quickly and maybe attack them at the moment, so they don't want to risk that. Naturally, TURLES ends up getting curious as to where the group is heading, and he gets a little bit concerned when they mention Namek. Even before he arrived on Earth, he was able to pick up some signals on his scouter and chatter about Frieza heading there to get the Dragon Balls, and he thinks that they're heading to Namek to face him. He calls them fools for thinking to face Lord Frieza because of how weak they are, but they don't know what he's talking about. Surprised that they don't actually know who he is, he tells the group about Lord Frieza and why he's heading there, and this comes as a shock to the group. They realize that the knowledge that this evil Saiyan has on all of the different space clans could be helpful for them. They don't know anything about space other than the fact that there's Namekians and Saiyans out there, and they don't know who this Frieza guy is. Because of his knowledge, they consider actually bringing TURLES along, both for intel and to keep him under watch while he heals. I mean, they do need someone watching him after all. TURLES also doesn't particularly like Frieza, so they may have a common enemy now, which means TURLES might actually be a little more trustworthy for them, although not completely. He also mentions that he heard a fellow Saiyan, Prince Vegeta, will be there as well, which makes the group worried because they obviously know who Vegeta is and they realize he's probably going to cause trouble. TURLES is actually surprised that they know who he is because he didn't know that the group knew Vegeta or encountered him. So Goku, Bulma, and Gohan and Krillin board the ship along with TURLES and they prepare to head for Namek. In comparison to the original Namekian ship, this ship takes a little less time to get there but still around the same time, despite being newer. The ship is a lot larger and is carrying more passengers, so that slows it down a bit. Not to mention, the original group left a few days later than the original, so it'll arrive on Namek a little earlier than the original Namekian ship, but not by much. The original ship took about a month to arrive to Namek, but this time we'll say the new ship with the gravity room departed Earth about a week later, and their journey on the ship instead takes about 3.5 weeks, instead of 6 days like Goku's ship, or about 5 weeks like the original ship. So they're going to be arriving a few days earlier than they did originally. Now that they have access to a gravity room, and they have all this time on their hands, they have a lot more time to train, since the journey's a lot longer, so this allows Goku, Gohan, and Krillin to train together in the gravity room, meaning they all get a lot stronger. Goku is noticeably stronger than he was originally, and he reaches a power level of 300,000 rather than just 90,000. Not only does he have 3 to 4 times the amount of time to train, he also has good training partners with him, so it allows his power to grow exponentially to the point where it's about triple of what it was originally. Krillin and Gohan are both around 60,000 now from this training, since they train at lower levels of gravity but have each other and Goku as training partners. Krillin also teaches Goku and Gohan the Destructo Disc, since it may be helpful later on. And perfecting their techniques and learning new ones is just as important as training their power. There's still an issue for them, however, which is TURLES. After about a week into the trip, Goku was easily able to reach a point where his power surpasses TURLES when he first fought him on Earth. TURLES was originally around 100,000 when they first fought, after he ate the fruit, and in the original story, Goku was able to reach a power of 90k after 6 days of training alone on the ship with the gravity room. This time he'd be at an even higher level since he can grow faster with his training partners. TURLES is still sitting there unable to train and is kinda dead weight for them right now, but now that Goku is stronger than him, they can heal him. If he does anything rash, Goku will easily be able to stop him since he has a higher power level now. In order to make it seem like they weren't hiding the senzu beans from TURLES, Goku stages a show where he pretends to find that he has the senzu beans on the ship, and that they can use it to cure TURLES. They do this because if he knew that they hid the senzu beans from him, he wouldn't be too happy, so they want to make him warm up to them by saying that they didn't know they had them all along. He ends up getting a senzu bean and his power soars. It goes up to a whopping 50k. That's weird. When he arrived on Earth, it was 10k, but after getting the fruit of the Tree of Might, his power went to 100k. Why didn't it go past 100k this time? He's a bit underwhelmed at the fact that the fruit's power is gone, but he expected it now at this point, and he's at least satisfied with the Zenkai he got that launched him to 50k. And hey, for all he knows, the power might return over time. Reluctantly, he ends up training with the others to try and gain more power. This training allows his power to reach 130k before they get to Namek, which is a pretty nice increase, and it's about how powerful he was after he ate the fruit. He's still very reluctant to join these people, but he knows he can use this opportunity to get the Dragon Balls for himself, or if his power ends up returning, he might be potentially able to fight Lord Frieza with a group and get revenge for him enslaving the Saiyans for so long. The journey continues and the group eventually lands on Namek at about the same time the first ship arrived in the original. The evil Saiyan has learned to suppress his power now, and he learns to sense power on his own, but he keeps his scouter to listen to any chatter he could pick up on. although he's used his key to melt the microphone on the scouter so no one could hear what he's doing when he tunes into the Frieza channel. He's trying to covertly listen into them, and he doesn't want them hearing anything that's going on. Immediately, the group is able to sense a power near them, which everyone but Bulma can immediately pick up on and recognize. It's Vegeta. And that's where we'll leave off for now. Now, the fruit is never shown to be permanent, and actually in other media, it's been shown to be more harmful more often than not, and the user may recede back to their former power level over time. But since there's no reliable source or info about the fruit and how the power works for it, I'm going to leave a poll here relating to that. Does the power of the fruit eventually return to TURLES, or does his power remain at the normal level that it is now, and he doesn't get the boost that he got from the fruit? Vote on the poll to let me know what you want to happen in the next part. Which option did you vote for and why? What may happen next? Comment your suggestions and thoughts below as we prepare for the next part. As always, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications about future parts of this What If and other videos on my channel. Thank you all for watching, thank you all for getting me to 10k subs, and I'll see you all in the next video.